Pretty much just want to go over my pre-market game plan going into tomorrow, and then I'll do a recap of today. So as always, keep this quick, simple, clean, and straightforward. Now, here on the spot, right? Today was a pullback long type of day. What do we notice, right? This was a very big hold on the day. This was a very big hold. Previous all-time high, right? Pullback, every time we pull back down here, right? Buyers are stepping up very aggressively, defending this name. This is exactly what we want to see. So coming into tomorrow, right? The game plan is a break and retest over 673, right? Wait for clean displacement because you don't want to get caught in a reversal or a fake out, right? Or a pullback long off the 667.35. As we can see, buyers are definitely defending this very well. Or you can look for a break and retest over 669.20. Now, as we know, I don't like channels. I don't trade in them. But right? What we're seeing right now is really a bit of a consolidation, and that is very normal, right? I've shown before we are just in an uptrend market. We are bullish pretty much every day. Now, let's get rid of this 669.20 for a second. What do you notice here, right? We're stuck in a channel, right? We have been bouncing for the past pretty much 5 days between 673 and 667.35, right? Every day we open up is pretty much an inside bar day, right? So if price action is not that good, really can't be surprised just because we're sitting in a channel right now. But that's expected, right? That's normal. When we're just moving straight to the upside or to the downside, you can expect a consolidation period before we have our next leg higher or next leg lower, right? This is 100% normal, right? So just be careful. But right, clean break and retest over 673 or a pullback long off the 667.35, right? This name is trended. So where do we look? Does this look like a name that's in a downtrend? Absolutely not, right? We're still stair stepping higher. So we're just looking for pullback longs. So this was really nice to see today, right? This 667.35 step up and buyers defend that, right? Qs, right? Once again, all-time highs, right? Today, consolidating a little bit, right? But that's 100% normal, right? Before we move higher, right? Consolidation before the next level higher is normal. What do you notice here, right? We are stair stepping up. Now, one thing that I do like about Qs, right? This was a very big hold today. Once again, just like the SPY, right? We pulled back, right? Buyers are defending this. This is a very big hold today. This is what we want to see, right? That's beautiful, right? Pull back, strong momentum to the downside, and as soon as we approach this key level, buyers step in aggressively. That shows you how strong that level is. Now, the one thing that I do like about Qs, right, is every single day, something that I've noticed, every single day, look at this. We have made new all-time highs. Even if we sell off, right, we have made new all-time highs. Even today, right, another all-time high, right? Each day we are opening above pretty much the previous day high, or we break above it before we sell off. This is what I want to see. So, right, you can see we're sitting in this channel, right? We don't want channels. What happens yesterday when we get that clean break and retest above 607.15? Look how clean price action was and we gravitated to the upside, right? So coming into tomorrow, I really want to see it break and retest over the 607, targeting previous day high or now all-time highs, right? If we fall back, if we fall under, right, we're just looking for pullback longs, right? That's all we're looking for is pullback longs. The only way I look to short any of this is if we break structure on the higher time frame. Tesla, right? So I posted, please go check that out. I think it's a lot of good insight on it. I posted my entire live trading session and I break this down in real time, right? Patience pace. Now, my game plan coming into today on Tesla was a pullback long over 445, right? That was my game plan. That ended up happening. Now, stick with me because I've said this a lot now. I think everyone's catching on. My favorite pullback long entries is when we fail that key level and reclaim it because these shorts that are getting squeezed out of their positions, what are they doing? Say it with me. They're fueling the move higher, right? That's what we want to see. Now, I waited for this candle to close because I'm not just chasing this because technically that's a breakout and I don't trade breakouts. I wanted to see what this candle would do. I was hoping we got that pullback just a little or red to green. We never got it. This is a terrible entry because I'm entering near the high of day. My stop loss is way down here. That's a big loss, right? So practice good habits because a day like this, you enter this trade. Yeah, you get rewarded for it, but you're practicing bad habits. Now, right? Yesterday we knew this 236.30 was a very strong key level, right? My game plan was not to long off this level today because it was the previous day low, but this shows you when you are trading with the overall higher time frame, right? Look how beautiful this pullback long was, right? Pullback long, this is a very easy trade, right? 12 minutes straight green to the upside. We pull back just a little bit. And then as you can see at the end of day or towards the end of the session, right, we did end up getting that break and retest over 445, right? That was the trade I was looking for. We ended up getting that later into the session, right? Now, coming into tomorrow, I really want to break this down thoroughly, right? My game plan, right? And as we can see, this 436.30 is being respected very well. My game plan, right, is a break and retest again over 445, targeting the upside. Why is that? Right? This is the better RR trade. There's nothing in its way. You can look to scale out at previous day high. There's nothing in its way. Let's look at today. As soon as we got that break and retest and reclaim over 445, we practically pushed back up into the previous day high, right? That's what I love about that. So the only two trades that I'm looking to take here, right, the two high RR trades, broke this down before. It's a break and retest long over 445. And the only way I'm looking to short is if we break under this 423.15 to the downside. Why is that, right? Look, there's nothing in its way. These are the two high probability trades, right? That's beautiful. Now, I do not trade channels. I stay away from channels. What do we notice here, right? Look at this. We don't want to be in that, right? So when you see it like this, you see a visual of your high RR trades, right? Nothing in the way. under 423.15 and nothing in its way under 445 to the upside. So these are the only two key levels I'm looking to take a trade off of tomorrow. AMD, really nothing here. I didn't even look at this name today. So coming into tomorrow, if you want, if this is a ticker that you like, since we are moving to the upside, you can take a break and retest over this previous day high, targeting all-time highs, or you can take a break and retest under the previous day low, targeting this key low here, just because it's unmitigated liquidity and pricing gravitate towards there. But right, we are very bullish on the higher time frame, so I'm pretty much hands off on that. So if you want to take a trade off this, I would just wait for the break and retest over previous day high, targeting all-time highs. But other than that, I'm hands off on this name. NVIDIA, I will break this down in a separate video, my trading recap. Same game plan coming into today, same going into tomorrow, right? A break and retest over 188.15, targeting upside all-time highs. There's really nothing in its way, or a pullback long off of this 184.50, targeting the top of this range and all-time highs. Now, even though, right, I don't trade ranges, as we can see, I said this yesterday, we're starting to form a range here on the video, right? The only reason I like a pullback long off this 184.50 is because this is a weekly resistance turn support. And when you look at this, right, give me one sec. When you look at this, right, you see that buyers are defending this very well every time we pull back down here, right? This is a big hold. This is a very big hold. So the fact that this is being held up is something that I really want to see. Like, buyers defending this is something that I want to see. Now, right, if, I said this yesterday, if we fell under this 184.50, the only reason that I like this to the downside is because, right, let me get rid of this. That would be a break of structure on the higher time frame, right? A break of structure. What do we notice here, right? Each day we are opening lower, right? Each day we are opening lower. That's one. That's something that I'm noticing, right? Now, you can clearly see on the higher time frame, this will be a break and retest to the downside, right? You can see once resistance turns support, and this is a weekly level. So if we fell under this, this is a big RR trade, right? But I have to wait for displacement, right? We always talk about the shorts that get caught up, getting squeezed out of their position, fueling this move higher. I don't want to be a part of that. So I have to wait, right? This is something that I'm looking for, right? Proper displacement, not a fake out or liquidity grab, right? I want that and then a retest and then that, right? That is the clean trade to the downside that I'm looking for on NVIDIA. But other than that, right, if we can get a break and retest over this 188.15, there's nothing in this way to the upside, and we're outside of this channel, right? Pullback long off of this would be valid just because buyers are defending this weekly support level, and if we break under that, we have to wait for displacement before we short that. Apple, right? I was looking at this today. Unfortunately, right, we didn't get that. I spoke on this. This name just chops, right? Look at the 15-minute. But coming into tomorrow, break and retest 257.35, targeting all-time highs, or a pullback long off of this 253.90. Now, the reason I really like this coming into tomorrow is because the confluence that it has. Not only is it the previous day high now, this is also a key resistance level that we cannot get over and hold, right? So if we can get over this and hold this, this is a clear shot towards all-time highs. I really like that. Now, right, this is a name we don't want to short. This is a valid long, right? 253.90, we've seen over and over this key level be respected and defended. Now, I've always said I do not come into the day with a bias, but let's zoom out here, right? There's a lot of liquidity. This trend line is being respected very well, right? We can clearly see this trend line being respected. This is a lot of built up liquidity. If, same thing like NVIDIA, if we fell under this 253.90, right, with clean displacement, proper displacement, I like shorts on Apple. But I don't want to be part of that fake out, right? I need a good breakout, right? Good displacement, retest, and move to the downside. That is a valid trade as well. But main two things I'm looking for tomorrow is a long over this 257.35, targeting all-time highs, a pullback long over this 253.9, targeting the upside of this range and all-time highs. And if we fell under this, I'm not looking to short this unless we have big displacement. Palantir, right? So game plan coming into today on Palantir was a break and retest over 184.50 or a short under this 177.05. Now, if you would have taken this today, right, this was a clean trade. This setup, you got the break, candle closure, displacement, retest. You would have had 3 different shots to take on this and push up into here. Clearly, sellers are sitting up there, but this was a good shot if you took that. Now, of course, I did not want to go long off the bottom of this range just because this, right? I don't want to be in that. Now, coming into tomorrow, right, is now it's getting a little tricky on Palantir because we can clearly see, right, that there are sellers sitting up here, right? There's a lot of supply up here. Every time price pushes up here, we just pretty much fell, right? So what you can look for tomorrow is a break and retest over 184.50, really targeting previous day high, scale out, and hopefully price can gravitate higher, right? The only reason I like it is because you're going with the overall higher time frame context, and right, we're not that far from all-time highs. Look at this big sell-off we had, and in 2 days we recovered, right? This is showing you that buyers are in control on this aim, right? I do like shorts under 177.05. Why do I like shorts under that? Because we would be outside of this range, right? That's a clean RR trade. That is a good trade to the downside, and this is a solid trade to the upside.